Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. I think this tea's far too hot. Oh, so I'm not going to burn myself. No, it's too hot. I won't burn myself live. That'd be embarrassing. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. As always, if you're there, do pop a hello in the comments. So, good morning, Eva. So that I know that I'm not talking to myself. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday. Good morning, Maria. It's still sunny outside. Good morning, Helen. Good morning, Carla. Good morning, Willow. We have quite a spring morning out there today. A bit chilly, but quite spring. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Jess. Good morning to everyone. Where are we now? Beginning of April-ish. The weather has been bizarre. For those of you in England with me, how bizarre has the weather been? We had beautiful spring sunshiny days, and then one day last week it snowed. We had about 2 minutes, I think, of snow, but it snowed nonetheless. That's English weather for you, really. Well, that's spring weather, really, isn't it? Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Xenia. Good morning, Christine. Good morning to Peter and Eric, even if they're not in the room. Eric is fast asleep on a beanbag, covered in a pile of blankets, and Pete is downstairs working. He did bring me up a cup of tea, though. What I got today? Peppermint and licorice tea today. Good morning, Emma. Good morning, Lani. Good morning, Jay. Sue, have you got a bit of cold? It's allergies, Sue. It's good old hay fever's kicking in. But no cold, just allergies. Allergic to stuff. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Martina. Love your hair. Thank you, Martina. Xenia, winter weather and snow in northern Germany too. Yeah, the Kalak hasn't given up yet. She's still fighting back. Good morning, Erin. Alan, Alana, your hair. Oh, thank you. Yes, my hair's just, this is lockdown hair. I haven't been to the hairdresser since sometime last year. I'm having to cut my own fringe and colour my own hair. So it's all a bit fun and games. Good morning, Kay. Kay's listening in the shower. Ooh, that is a thing to admit. Let's move on from that. Eva, we had a week of 20+ degree weather followed by 3 days of snow. Yeah, she is. The Kalak is really fighting back. She does not want to let go. Good morning, Donna. Good morning, Teresa. Your new space looks lovely. Thank you. Yes, I am now fully set up pretty much in the witch's parlour upstairs. Got there eventually. It does need a lick of paint, but that's not going to happen just at the moment. Jane, sympathise with your hay fever. There's a sudden rush of tree pollen. Done me up like a kipper. Yes, my husband suffers with the tree pollen. I am a really bad witch, actually. I am allergic to plant pollen, so I do get hay fever. But I'm also allergic to cats, incense, too many herbs, and dogs. So I am actually allergic to Eric. So I am generally stuffed up with antihistamines. So a bit rubbish, really. Sue, good morning. Weather is all out of sync here in New Zealand too. Yeah, she is. She's fighting back. Doesn't want to let go of the winter yet. Good morning, April. Pine pollen in the States. Okay. Karen, good morning. Your hair looks lovely. Thank you, people. I have just, coloured my roots and curled it a bit. Trudy, morning. Back now, getting my toast from the toaster. Oh, I like it. Oh, we're having breakfast as well. Excellent. I have had my brown flakes already. Maybe it's time for mid-morning cake or something. I have got some baking to do today because, it's me, really. I'm going to make gypsy tart this morning, so that should be interesting. Not made that one before. Sue, trouble is with England, it's 1/2 inch of snow and the country stops. Yeah, we're not geared up in England for extremes of weather because we don't get them very often, really. So when we do get a light dusting of snow, everything grinds to a halt. Christine, I have the same allergies. Don't take antihistamines. I just sneeze and cough. I couldn't breathe without antihistamines, Christine. My chest would just give in. So I do have to have antihistamines. Jane says, haven't done the roots since before COVID. Embracing the grey. Yeah, I did think about it momentarily, Jane. And the roots did get quite long, and I realised just how white my hair was underneath. But I'm not quite ready yet. Not quite ready. Thank you, Xenia. Thank you. So, good morning and welcome, everyone. I'm going to see if my tea's too hot to drink. Oh, no, that's not bad. I don't want third-degree burns from tea. Sue's becoming a silver surfer. You go, Sue. You go. Yes, I think if my hair did grow beautifully silver, it would be lovely. But it doesn't, because it's still quite grey at the moment. Although I have got a big white stripe across the top of my head. It is literally a stripe. It looks like someone's just drawn a white stripe across the top of my head. But yes, when my hair is all white, I will go with it, I'm sure. Or I'll go pink or purple or something, because I've been most of those colours anyway. I don't think there's a colour I haven't been, actually. I was even green at one point. Yeah, no, I don't think there's a hair colour I haven't had. I don't think there's a hairstyle I haven't had either, to be honest, but there you go. So, welcome. Thank you, as always, for joining me. You guys absolutely rock. So, last week we talked about the magic of feathers. And I thought I'd follow along the same thing. All the information from last week's feathers and the information today is all taken from my book, Witchcraft into the Wilds. And it's all about working with nature's items. It's magic that doesn't cost anything. It's not about buying all the magical tools and all the paraphernalia, which you can see behind me. We all buy it and we all use it. But Witchcraft into the Wilds for me is about not using any of that and just using items that you find in nature to work magic with. So that's today. I thought we would carry on from the feathers of last week and talk about stones and shells today. So my hubby's hair, very long, is pure white, and so is his beard. Fantastic. Obviously, I don't want a beard, but yes, pure white hair would be quite cool. Jane, the Lily Munster stripe is the sign of a witch. It's a whitlock. It is seriously just a white stripe. It is. I've got a whitlock. Okay, I've not heard of that, Jane. I'm going to have to look that up. Thank you. I quite like the idea of having that. Good morning, Lizzie. Xenia, I look like an old woman from behind without hair colouring, so I colour my hair. Yes, I think my hair colouring is still a desperate grasping onto my youth. In my head, I'm only about 25. In reality, I'm quite a bit more than that. Christine, totally silver now, and I let it grow long. It's down to my waist now. Your hair is beautiful, Christine. And yes, if mine was totally silver, I would let it go, but it's not at the moment. Christine got a grey streak when I was 18, and it's really white now. Love it. Excellent. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, John. Lockdown hair for me has been great. I've been allowed to cut Tracy's hair 4 times so far. She cut mine with, yes, I have cut my husband's hair and I have cut my son's hair with clippers, which is very easy to do, but I can't do it myself, and I'm really not going to let either of them anywhere near my hair. Thank you. Oh, husband has put a link to the Witchcraft into the Wilds book. Thank you. Xenia, have that book. Excellent. Sue, nothing wrong with ladies having beards, and if you drink tomato soup, it gives a nice shade of pink. If we did have beards, we would plait them, wouldn't we, and put ribbons and beads and things in them. Although I have seen gents that have got their beards plaited and with beads in too. So yeah, we'd rock it, whatever. Emma, my cousin from Southend sent me some driftwood in a wand shape, so that's what I use it for. Brilliant. Driftwood is amazing. So much magical energy in driftwood. I very rarely find any on Air Beach. I don't know why. But there you go. Xenia, I'm 47, so not time for looking like an old woman yet. Oh, no, you're way too young, Xenia, way too young. I'm 52, and I'm still too young to be a crone. Don't want to be a crone yet. I'm in my matriarch stage, I've decided. But that's a whole other talk and a whole other book. So let's try and vaguely stick on topic, she says. Very rarely managing it. So I'm looking at natural items, and we've all got stones, haven't we? We've all got pebbles. We've all got rocks of some sort. I have got some hagstones here. Oh, this one's got a crystal in it. Can't see on there, can you? Crystally bit. There's another one. I'm very lucky in the beach near us. Does have lots of hagstones, so I have got quite a great collection. But stones themselves carry a huge amount of earth energy. You can find them all over the place, though. You don't have to find them on the beach. You can find pebbles and stones in the hedgerows, in the forest, in the fields. In the seashore or by the rivers, you may well find hagstones or holy stones, the stones that have got holes right the way through them. Fairy stones, they're called sometimes too. But just general pebbles and stones carry so much energy with them. But generally earth, although if you have got a stone or a pebble that you found by the river, it will also carry the energy of water with it. And I think if you've picked up a pebble from the beach, not only have you got the earth energy, but you've also got water because it's been washed by the ocean. You've also got the added earth energy of salt because the water is salt water. But because it's been sitting on the beach, you've also got the addition of fire because it's been baked by the sun, and air because it's been open to the elements of the wind as well. So a pebble from the beach has got all four elements in it as well. So very, very magical. But even your ones from the woodland or really just from a bag from your local home depot, you can buy bags of pebbles and stones there. And different pebbles and stones, depending on where you get them from too, depending on what their mineral composition is. Rachel says, my husband's a carpenter and he has become a rather good hairdresser over the last year. He has cut and coloured my hair many times. I may not go back to the hairdressers. Excellent, Rachel. That's brilliant. Elizabeth 52 in Letting Grey. Yeah, if you're confident enough to do it, then go for it. I take my hat off to you, literally. Lizzie stopped dyeing my hair and it's slowly transforming. Yeah, it takes a while, doesn't it? Willow says, driftwood needs to be collected when the tide is right and the wind has been in the right direction. That makes perfect sense, Willow. Thank you. Hello, there's my husband. What are you doing? Go back to work. Witchcraft in the Wilds is the only book with a picture of me on the cover. It is, yes. Witchcraft in the Wilds has a photograph of me with one of my cloaks on and my staff standing in our local woods, the woods that we hold our kitchen witch open rituals in. So yes, it has a picture of me on the cover, the back of me. Sue, this is good morning from Grace, my cat. She's watching again. Hi, Grace. I should dangle a bit of string or something across the screen, shouldn't I? Erin's cat's watching too. We won't tell Eric. Christine went for a walk and found a beautiful blue stone. Put it in a plant pot. Feels lovely to hold. Yeah, but I put crystals and stones in pots in my garden, actually. Jane says there's energy from the boring clams that make the holes in hagstones. They must have pneumatic teeth. The holes in hagstones are made by water. They are made by water. It is the flow of the water, which is why you can find them on riverbeds sometimes too, because it's water that makes the holes. Sue picked out a few hagstones from bags of gravel. Excellent. That was a lucky find. Very lucky find. So wherever you get your pebbles from, and yes, you can buy them in bags from the home depots, but you know, if you're out wandering and walking, you can find it. Good morning, Harmony. You can find stones wherever you are, really. And each one will have different energy. I've actually bought stones back from holidays way back in the distant memories of time for my 40th birthday. We went to Greece and the beach had some beautiful, beautiful stones with all sparkles running through them. So I did put a few in my suitcase to take home with me, which is probably you're not allowed to do, but there you go. And I know that on Air Beach, the stones are this kind of mostly beigey, browny, yellowy colours. A few white ones. Yeah, there's a white one. But when you go further down towards Dorset, Devon, you get the Jurassic Coast, and the pebbles on the beach there are beautiful. They're really flat, grey stones. Love them. I always collect some of those when we're down there. And different beaches have different things as well. So the beach local to me has lots of shells. But the beach in Charmouth, where my cousin lives, where we go to collect grey pebbles, has loads of sea glass, but no shells. So it does depend on where you are in the country as to what you'll find on the beaches. Jane says Hayling Island is an abundant source of hagstones. Yes, South Sea as well, Jane. It's the same stretch of coastline, isn't it? So it's brilliant for hagstones. Kay says, right, oh, Kay's out of the shower now. I hope you've got clothes on, Kay. Many people say that grey hair, that the sparkle is showing through. Yes, because you don't actually get grey hairs, do you? The hair is actually white. So where it looks grey because of your own natural hair being darker, but sparkles is beautiful. Trudy says, my kitchen shelves are getting mega full with my collection of stones over the years. Stones from gushing streams hold lots of energy. Absolutely. Yes, Christine said there's lots of fossils on Dorset beaches. There are. We've got a few collection pieces that we've had from there as well. It's all along the Jurassic coast there, isn't it, where you can find fossils. Okay, my hair. Thank you. Gemma. Hi, Gemma. In Seaford near Eastbourne, we have so many hagstones. Yep. It does depend where you are, as to whether you'll find hagstones or sea glass or different types of pebbles. Good morning, Melody. So wherever you get your pebbles from or stones from, I think they have a different energy. So the pebbles that I brought back from Greece have a completely different energy to the pebbles that I find on my local beach, just purely because of where they were located. And pebbles that you find in the woods will have a different energy to pebbles that you find from the beach. Xenia has a bunch of hagstones found at the beach in Brighton. Oh, love Brighton. Yes, Brighton, same similar type of pebbles and stones as to where I am in Southsea. Joe loves Charmouth. Yeah, it's a beautiful beach. Beautiful beach. So yes, wherever your stones come from will bring that energy of the place with them, the spirit of the place with them. So it will make a difference whether you've got a forest pebble or a sea pebble. They will have different energies to them. And I think each pebble and stone has a different energy anyway. Each one has its own personality. So these hagstones here are all from my local beach. But I've also got a piece of really pretty stone here that was collected from a beach down in Cornwall. I probably have to put a disclaimer that you're not supposed to take pebbles and stones away from beaches. Please do not fill the boot of your car or get caught. But this one's from a little beach in Cornwall, and I love it because it's got a sparkle. You probably can't see on the camera, but it has got a sparkle. Very pretty. And of course, they have lots of uses. And I've got, let's try and lift these pieces. I've got a huge bit here. This is from one of my favourite places. This piece of stone is quite heavy. It has, again, you can't really see it from the camera, I don't think, but it's got lots of sparkles in it and different striations. Is that the right word? Stripes through it. This huge piece is from Tintagel Beach. I love it. The energy from it is amazing. And I use it because it's flat. I use it as an altar. So big pieces of stone like that make absolutely brilliant altars. You don't want to be carrying them around too many places because it's really heavy. But I think the energy from it, particularly if I'm doing any Avalon work or work with Merlin or any of that kind of Avalonian magic, that works brilliantly because it carries the magic of Tintagel. Sue says, how big is your handbag to get that stone home? It went straight in the boot of the car. Xenia says that's really shiny. Yes. Sue has a hagstone that looks like slate. Every now and then a layer will fall off. Yeah, I think that's probably what that grey one is. Shale, yes, definitely sedimentary. Jane, thank you. Yes, I'm sure it is. Not really my area of expertise. Christine, I see you are the naughty pants who fills up the car with all the rocks and pebbles on the beaches. I don't normally. Occasionally I do just pick up a hagstone, but because we were on holiday in Tintagel, I couldn't resist that great big lump of stone because it just so perfect for an altar. So it did get put into the boot of the car. Jane, you don't exactly sneak a bit of gravel into your handbag. No, but apparently people have literally filled the boot of their car with spades full of gravel from the beach, shingle from the beach, which is not allowed. Good morning, Carol. So they have many, many uses. There is a little bit of history with the hagstones. Supposed to be able to see through it and see the fairy world. If anybody's seen the film Spiderwick, they use a hagstone to see the world of fairy through. Brilliant film, actually. But loads and loads of folklore around the hagstones. I call them hagstones. They are called holy stones. They're called hex stones or fairy stones. Basically, a stone with a hole in where the water has worked through. Lots of folklore. Used to ward against curses, nightmares, evil spirits, and of course, protection against witches. Shouldn't be holding it. They can also be used to look through to see the other worlds, the realms, or fairies. It's also said that you can look through the hole in a hagstone and see things in reality, as it helps you see past any glamours or illusions, which is quite useful. So you're the sort that would come home from Greece dragging your suitcases it's full of stones. I did only bring a small handful of stones home from Greece. Good morning, Leslie. Good morning, Carol. Christine, I confess that I picked up a perfect triangle-shaped stone from the Chalice Well in Glastonbury. Christine, I'll send the police round. Kay says, now I understand about stones, the stones I've missed to bring home. So now I'm asking people that live on the coast to help me out. Jane says, I wonder if stones from tidal places carry moon energy as well as water energy. Absolutely, Jane. They are, seriously, a stone from the beach has so many different elements to it with all the 4 elements. And because it's got that link to water, it's got that moon energy as well, and because it's been baked by the sun, it's got the sun energy as well. They are literally an entire magical toolkit in one stone. Trudy, I'm so like you. We have lots of mining history, so I do tend to take a sample and love Spiderwick Chronicles. Good film. Oh, Tony loves the film too. Yes, brilliant. Sarah once brought home lava stone from Iceland. Fabulous. Hello, there's my daughter. Hello, just wanted to say you look really pretty. Oh, bless you. Love you, Squish. Oh, miss you. See you soon. Haven't seen children properly for what seems like forever because of the old no, but there you go. Thank you, Squish. Sue, we all say that, just a small handful. No, I did, honestly, because, you know, didn't want a suitcase full of stones. I would have paid extra baggage. So hagstones. Hagstones are loads and loads of folklore behind it. Jane says, someone said you can look through the hole in the stone and see a pisky. Yeah, you can. You look through the hole in the stone and it is supposed to reveal to you the world of fairy. So it does actually work really well if you are trying to make that connection with the fairy world. The stones were also used to keep away the evil hag spirit that would bring nightmares. So the stones were hung in bedrooms and placed on windowsills. In some old cottages, they have actually found hagstones literally buried in the walls and still hung on the window frames. So that's to keep away the evil hag spirits, because you've got to watch out for those. Some sailors, and I am reading this bit because my memory's like a sieve. Some sailors would tie holy stones to the bows of their boats to protect against malevolent witchcraft. See, you've got to watch out for those malevolent witches. Similarly, farm buildings would have small holy stone or a pebble tied to the key for the building. This was to prevent the witches that rode the hedgerows at night from hexing the farm and to prevent the witches from hag riding the horses. See, it's all about protecting against witches. Kay, know what you mean, missed my lovely lot. 4 kids, 14 grandkids. Yes, it has been very hard, Kay. We've done video chats and things, but we'll get there. Senia says, hands of an excavator. No, honestly, just a small handful of little tiny stones. Leslie, I've never found a hagstone. I would love one. It's funny, isn't it? It does depend where you are in the country or in the world as to whether there's loads of them or none of them. It's all to do with geology and stuff like that, I'm sure, but that's way out of my realm. Christine, I put a brick wall up against my neighbour. That's quite heavy stonework. John, when we had tropical fish, Tracy used to spend ages on the beach picking the right pebbles for the tank. Yeah, that would be me. Sue, thinking about it, yes, I've seen lots of hagstones on bunches of keys. Yes, I have as well. It is interesting, isn't it, that it's all probably stems back to that folklore of keeping them on the keys to keep out those naughty hag riding witches. Melody's going to Caister later this year, but don't think I'll find anything there, but I will be looking. It doesn't have to be a stone with a hole in. I think if you're just drawn to a particular stone, then they've all got magic. Even the bags of shingle from the garden centre, it's got that magical energy in it, whether it's got a hole or not. It just seems to be quite a lot of folklore about the hagstones, the holy stones. It was also said that if you wore a hagstone around your neck as an amulet, it would protect the wearer against the evil eye, and would also apparently prevent the wearer from being pixie-led whilst out walking. And if you don't know the phrase pixie-led, that's when you're out, usually in between times, dusk or daybreak, and the fairies would lead you astray so that you get lost and you get turned around and don't know where you are. So wearing a hagstone, it's like a sat-nav. It's like a nature's sat-nav. It will protect you from getting lost by pixies. The holy stone was also said to be able to cure disease, either by wearing the stone as a pendant around your neck or by rubbing the stone over a wound or a painful joint. I do feel the need to put a disclaimer here that has no medical proof whatsoever. But hey, it's worth a try. Definitely worth a try. Kay, my hubby being Irish bought one back from one of the beaches, and it's only since doing these Friday mornings I realised what it was. Mine now. Yep, that's mine. Xenia, so if we use these hagstones against naughty hedge riding witches, would we expel ourselves? Yeah, but technically this should be burning my skin at the moment because not only am I a witch, I also do hedge riding. So yes, technically I should be, if I explode into a little pile of dust, you'll know that the hagstones worked. Christine, I was told that to put one on your husband to stop him from straying. Well, actually, probably this one would work. If you tied this one around his neck, he wouldn't stray very far then. Lani says, yes, nature's Google Maps. Yes, your hagstone is your Google map. I'm assuming, of course, that you don't want to use hagstones to protect against witches. You might. I'm assuming you don't. But they can actually be used in all sorts of protections and healing spell work. They can be worn as amulets. And if you've got a little one, I've got a teeny tiny one here, you can just string it on a piece of leather thong or cord and hang it around your neck and wear it as protection. You can pop them into spell pouches or witch bottles. You can also hang them on your own windowsills or hang them above your doorways, all for bringing in protection, general protection, not just protection against naughty witches. If you're looking for a bit of fertility, they're also good to hang over your bed to help facilitate pregnancy. Apparently, again, disclaimer, Don't sue me if it doesn't work, but it has got that kind of fertility energy to it. If you've got several hagstones, you can string them all together on a piece of string, knot them and space them apart a little bit. This adds power to the stone by bringing knot magic in as well. So you hagstone, tie a knot, hagstone, tie a knot, and then you bring in that extra magic from knot work. Xenia says, using a hagstone tied to an iron key would be double protection against the fairies. Indeed it would, because they don't like that iron, do they? Tony, my daughter and I have painted some hagstones, an idea from Wild Things book to make into spy stones to peep into other worlds. Yes, you can't add a photo when this is all still going live, Tony. You'll be able to add a photo into the comments when it's all finished. Xenia, it must be a heavier stone to protect your husband from straying. Yeah, give him a great big one. Or just trust your husband, you know. Kay, I wonder if they help hubbies to stop snoring. Probably not. Probably not. Oh, yes, Jane, put a hagstone up each nostril to keep the airways clear. No more snoring. Let us know how that goes, Jane. We'd like an update on that one. Okay, no more kids for me, done my share of world population. Yeah, no, I won't be working with it for fertility, thanks. I don't want kids at my age. Thank you very much. Lani, I was thinking, would hagstones be associated with the green man? I've never made the connection, Lani, but I don't see why not. It's definitely a nature thing, isn't it? I think of hagstones more because I think of the hag and I think of the feminine energy of it. But there's no reason why not, Lani, particularly pebbles, not particularly hagstones, but pebbles, I would think, from the woodlands would definitely have his kind of energy to them. But I say each stone, different stones have different energy depending on where you get them from. So Kay says financial fertility. Well, yeah, obviously, when I say fertility, the first thing we obviously think about is pitter-patter of tiny little feet. But that could be the pitter-patter of tiny little animal feet. It could be a new pet. It could be a new idea, a new project, new ventures. Fertility is about new ideas and the birth of new projects and things. It doesn't have to be babies. Good morning, Baz. Put hagstones in each nostril. What have I stumbled into? Just a normal Friday morning talk, Baz. Just a normal talk. It was a suggestion to stop men from snoring to put hagstone up each nostril, but you know. Jane says the Kalek loves her apron full of rocks. I guess some of them might be hagstones. I would imagine so, Jane. The Kalek created the landscape by the rocks from her apron. Some say she threw them out of her apron. Some say her apron strings broke. But yes, there may well have been hagstones in there. Christine, I believe somewhere there's a huge hagstone and has a standing stone next to it. Very phallic. Yes. That would be fertility personified, really, wouldn't it? That would be would you like to go large with your order? Definitely. You lot are bad. Anyway, getting back to, other things. And now see, you've made me skip all my folklores, disappeared off the screen. That's all you're talking. Hold a hagstone in your left hand and visualize your success and desires. Rub your thumb around the hole in the stone in a deer seal direction, clockwise. Keep the stone with you and repeat the spell regularly to reinforce the magic. I've actually used that method for weather spells. On occasion, don't generally mess with the weather, but if it's been something really important, then I have used a hagstone to work a weather spell. And I do exactly that. Reciting the spell, the chant, whatever I want to happen, and rubbing the stone clockwise around the hagstone to bring the magic in. And it has worked each time I've done it. So that's quite a good little spell to be working. Could work with anything, not just weather magic. Emma, watching and listening while making my altar cloth. I may add a hagstone or two to it. Perfect. Carol needs to know where that hagstone and standing stone are, Christine. That Helen says that's Men and Toll in Cornwall. There you go. Thank you. Well, I shall visit next time I'm down in Cornwall. But I think depending on what area you are, whether you find hagstones or not depends on your location, on the landscape and all that geology kind of stuff. But pick up pebbles and stones that appeal to you. It doesn't have to be a hagstone. Sometimes a stone will just find its way to you, and each stone has that element of earth, so it packs a huge protection punch even if it hasn't got a hole in it, and it will have its own magic to it. There's so many different ways of working with the pebbles, and painting them as well works really well. I've got several flat pebbles that I have painted, so they make really good. I've got a couple. One has got a goddess figure on it. One's got a god figure on it. Just very simply painted. So they work really well on your altar. I have a big flat pebble that I use for the Kalak. That's got a wild boar and words of the Kalak painted around it. You don't have to be very artistic, and you can just draw on them with Sharpies pens. It works really well, or acrylic paint. Bit far from Glasgow. Cornwall is quite away from Glasgow. Yes, Carol. Kay, does anyone know if Brighton has hagstones? Yes, I believe it does, Kay. Yes, I believe it does. Carol found a hagstone on our family holiday in Portugal, and I've kept it. Excellent. And that'll have a completely different energy. The hagstone from Portugal will have a different energy from hagstone in Brighton. So they will have that very different energy to them. And this hagstone found in Southsea will have a different energy to this hagstone found in Southsea. It always has different energies to it. Hi, Tilly. Tilly says Lyme Regis. Yes, Lyme Regis, Charmouth, all along that coast there. Brilliant for hagstones and also for sea glass, which is lovely stuff to work with. Also, pebbles, really, really good for getting rid of negative energy. If you've got worries or troubles or feel that you need to get rid of some negative vibes, then you can hold the stone, send all your energy into that pebble or stone, and then release it by lobbing it. Be careful where you're throwing it, but send all that negative energy into the stone, and particularly if you're near water, throw it into the sea, throw it into the river, throw it into the pond, and you've released all of your worries and troubles into the stone, and it's then cleansed by the sea or the water. If you don't have any water near you, you can bury it beneath the earth, and it will then take your troubles away with it. Really, really simple spell work to do with just any pebble. Doesn't have to be anything special, something you don't want to keep, obviously. But that earth energy will soak up all those negative energies, and then it will release it depending on where you get rid of it. Kay's going to ask her stepson to find some and post them. We'll have a hagstone post. Willow says Eastbourne has an abundance of hagstones and flint. Excellent. And flint hagstones. See, another different energy, because you're bringing in a different stone there. You're bringing in flint, which brings in another different energy. So really, really good for getting rid of negative energy, for letting that energy flow and release, and taking your troubles away with it, really. Something like the flatter ones, like this one, you could draw sigils or seagulls on with, I like to call them seagulls, sigils or symbols on them for working magic. You could design your sigil and then draw it on the stone, and you could then bury it or skim it into the water. I say skim, I can't actually skim stones off the water. There's a technique to that. But these flat ones do make brilliant, even this would make a brilliant mini altar, or something to leave your offerings on if you want to leave offerings. But a whole huge punch of earth energy there. I'm just going to disappear over here for 2 seconds and get this painted stone that I've got. Bear with me a second. Should have been prepared, shouldn't I? So another flat stone. It might be another one from Tintagel. I'm not owning up to that, but I painted on it. Well, I didn't paint. I drew on it with Sharpies. So really, really easy to do. Just Sharpie pens. And I've written around the edge as well. This is my Kalak stone. She is wisdom, she is knowledge, she is mysteries, she is ancient, she is strength, she is the Kalak. And I've got a wild boar in it as well. But that's just made from a flat stone and using Sharpie pens. So they make absolutely brilliant altar stones. Try not to concuss any dragonfly larvae when chucking stones in the ponds. Jane, that's very, very wise, very, very wise information. Thank you. Christine, I get prezzies from a friend with messages. For example, go for it, and I treasured them, and also painted pebbles too with lovely messages on them. Yes, pebbles are really good to have prompts on, aren't they? Go for it, courage, strength, love. And you could paint a whole lot of pebbles and use them for runes. Pebbles make, particularly, obviously this one's too big, but particularly the smoother, grayer ones, the smaller ones, make really, really good runes. You can make your own traditional runes, or you can make your own witches runes, or anything that you want to, really. And then you could draw just with Sharpies your symbols on one side, and then you've got a lovely set of runes. Sue, I love the blanket on the back of my seat. Yes, this one. This was handmade for me. It's not my talent because I'm dreadful with crochet needles or knitting needles. This was made by a very lovely student and now friend. Very honoured to call him my friend, Paul, who lives in Japan. He made that for me. Very, very talented. It's my meditation blanket. I use it each time I meditate. I put the blanket on so that it kind of another key to knock me into the meditative state. Thank you. It is. He's very clever. Jane, that's a lovely arty stone. I know about arty. The sea level at Tintagel must be significantly lower now. I think those were the only ones, I promise. I didn't bring them all. Sue colours light bulbs with Sharpies. That's interesting. I've never tried that. Xenia, the beautiful painting. Yes, because the stone shimmers as well. And I have got some silver Sharpie pen in there as well. But it's really easy to do, and just, let your creative side out, really. Kay's off to do some beach combing. Yep, definitely. Sue, nothing wrong with a set of runes that size. I could see them without my glasses. What, this size? Yes, it'd be a bit heavy to cast. Yeah, you probably want something a little bit smaller than that. Carol, there's a woman on my fertility group that's painted a pineapple on a stone and a rainbow for me and others. How lovely is that? The pineapple is a symbol for standing tall with your crown on. I like that. Pineapple, yes, standing proud and then with a crown. That's perfect. Perfect. Tilly, I painted images on 4 stones to use as portable quarter stones. They're brilliant for that. You can either just paint the words, earth, air, fire, water, or you could paint the triangle symbols onto stones. We had them for our open rituals, and then you just place the stone at each compass point in the ritual. Yes, Tilly, brilliant idea. They work really well for that. We've actually had pictures of cake before at the 4 quarters. Chocolate cake, cinnamon cake. But that's because we're like that. So flat pebbles are absolutely brilliant. You can draw images on. You could draw something for your deity. You could have just the god and goddess representations, the compass directions to use in ritual. You can also draw images of animals. When I've run animal spirit workshops before, we've painted our animal spirit guides onto stones. They work really well because then you hold the stone when you want to meditate to connect with the spirit of your animal. So they make really good connection for that. Or just write positive affirmations or words on the pebbles, keep them around the house to remind you, as a prompt, keep smiling, that kind of thing. And as I say, the really big one, if you can find a really big flat stone, they're really good to use for garden altars, or for burning loose incense on as well. If you've got a nice big flat stone, you can put the charcoal on and burn loose incense on the top as well. Carol would like to, yes, paint some stones for the elements. Do. It's very, very simple and straightforward to do. Christine, painted pebbles are magical presents if you're not well off. There's also been a bit of a trend, particularly I think during lockdown, where children have painted stones and just left them around outside in parks and streets and park benches and all sorts of things for people to pick up and take home with them, which I think is a lovely idea, just leaving a little pretty magical painted pebble with something positive on it to cheer people up, so that people just find them. So they are so useful and they carry so much energy with them, whether it is earth or that added energy from the sea or from the river, wherever you find them. And brilliant to use. So I quite often use one for grounding. So if you've been doing a lot of energy work and you need to ground quickly, grabbing hold of a pebble or a stone will really help ground your energies. Karen has painted a big piece of slate as a garden altar. They do make brilliant garden altars. Hi, Jenny. My guides, girl guides, not spirit ones. That's quite funny that we have to explain that. Often paint pebbles with positive words on. Yes, brilliant. The children love doing it. If you want to give children something to do to keep them occupied, then painting or drawing on pebbles is a fantastic idea. Gosh, I was a girl guide. Melanie, Artisio pens are great for that and less mess for the kids. Yeah, I use Sharpies on mine because that's much easier. But it does work quite well with acrylic paint if you prefer paint. Sarah, we do it with our beavers. They love it too. Excellent. And that, I'm assuming, is like the girl guides and not actual real beavers, because I think they'd have a job holding the pen. I need more coffee, I think. Christine, a lot of stones carry magnetic properties and could be used for healing, because the pebble, we look at a pebble and we think it's a stone, that's earth, but all of the different minerals that are inside it, all the different, and that was one I picked up earlier. Yes, this one looks like a boring old brown stone. Actually, on this side, I don't know if you can see it there, probably not, the camera's too dark. That hole inside is full of quartz. It's all sparkly. So there's a lot of them that will have different minerals and different elements inside them. So it isn't just a bit of rock. It's got so much more to it. There's so many different minerals and composition that go into them. That's, again, what adds to their other properties. But yes, magnetic would be in some of them for sure. Hi, Tony. Tony, we paint rocks for Ashford rock finding. Also started a lockdown dragon rock, which is now going to be permanently put in the park. Excellent. Brilliant. Xenia saw some of these painted pebbles with positive words or drawings outside. It's nice. Yeah, it is really, really nice. Fantastic idea. Yes, we've seen some in our local park, which the children have obviously done for it. Sparkle might be mica. It may well be, Kay. Geology isn't my thing. Jane, geodes look amazing magically. Yes, I have a couple of geodes in here somewhere. I'm not sure if I can remember where they are, so I won't disappear because I might be disappeared for ages trying to find them. But geodes are brilliant, yes. Christine has a friend in Bridport, I like Bridport, nice place, who does hot stone treatments. Yes, you can have hot stone massages, can't you? Which I find slightly nerving, someone putting hot stones on me. But it is supposed to be very relaxing and very healing. But they are just, again, they're stones. They're pebbles that they heat up. And they get placed along your chakra lines, I believe, along your back. Magic, really magic. Xenia, I also have a holy stone with a tiny magic cave of quartz in it. I hadn't thought about the cave. See, I do meditate with, usually with crystals. I meditate quite a lot with crystals, and I will meditate and go into the crystal. So either make the crystal in my vision big so that I can climb all over it, or shrink myself down in my vision. Not the whole Alice in Wonderland thing, although, you know, I've always got cake to eat. But if you shrink down and meditate in a meditation and climb all around the crystal, you really get to know it and to get the facets and the shapes and the surface of it. For a hagstone, or a stone like this one that's got a sort of little crystal cave inside of it, it would be fantastic to work with for meditation, to explore inside there. That would be very magical. Sue has found a painted pebble with a Christmas tree on. Now lives in my mum's window. Fantastic. Sue says there's a good butcher in Bridport. Excellent. Should we be passing? Kay says, I was advised to buy the pair of geodes because their energy is to bring things together. So in the home, one at the front and one at the back to bring the family together. Yes, because they're two halves, aren't they? So they do, it is about bringing things together. Very magical, very magical. All stones are magical, whether they're sparkly or brown or whatever. But I do use them an awful lot, and I will use them in spell work for things like grounding. Anything that is earthy, so earth brings prosperity, fertility, grounding. Anything to do with the home and the hearth, anything that needs a solid foundation, then you can put a pebble in to bring in that magic with it, to bring all of the elements of earth together. And free, so free and easy to get hold of, really easy to work with. And I say, each one has a different personality, and so useful to work with for all sorts of magic. Now, I was going to talk about shells as well today, but we've kind of, as always, nearly hit time. So I'll talk about shells next week. We don't have quite such big shells as I've got my big rock stone here. But if you do have some painted rocks, painted stones, anything that you use stones or pebbles for in magic, do pop some pictures up either on my page here or over on the Kitchen Witch Coven page. We'd love to see the photos of your creations and what you do with them, particularly if you've got big stone altars or something. That would be fantastic out in the garden. Okay, fair to say anything that has life force is magical. Absolutely, which is my whole point about the Witchcraft Into the Wilds. Everything has a magical energy, whether it is a feather or a pebble or a shell or a twig or a leaf or a seed. All of it has magical energy, and all of those items can be used to help you make magic, to meditate, to do spell work, all kinds of different things. And a lot of things are symbolic of particular deities. Other things can help you connect with the spirit world or with your animal spirit guides. So much stuff that nature provides for us that's free, that we can use to work magic with. And it's all there for us. It's all handed to us. Willow, our ancestors heated stones to heat water. Bit dangerous, but it would be a magical way to transform energy from one source to another. That would be fascinating to work with, wouldn't it? See, in my head now, because I watch Star Trek, I'm thinking, yep, whenever they're stranded on a planet, they use the phaser to heat stones to get heat for themselves rather than make a fire. But yes, that would be a fantastic way of working with the transformation of those energies. Definitely. So if you've got stones or pebbles, do work with them, do connect with them. And I think as well, it's important to connect with the energy of each stone. So as I say, this one and this one, although they came from the same place, they've both got really different energies. They've got their own unique personalities, as every stone, crystal, shell, twig does. They've all got their own unique energies. And I think it's really important to connect with that energy first to find out what it can help you with, or whether it wants to help you for a start. And by doing that, I mean, just, hold it and connect with it. Hold it in your dominant hand. You will have one hand that you find the energy flows through it more easily. Quite often it's the hand that you write with, but because I like to be completely contrary, my left hand is my dominant magical hand. So I'll hold the stone in it and just quieten myself, ground myself, center myself, and send out my spidey senses into the stone and make a connection with its energy. Sometimes they will talk to you quite freely. Other times it takes a bit of work. Sometimes they're not interested. You have to trust your intuition on this one and find out what each one can help you with. It may send a word into your head. It may send an image into your head. You might just get a particular feeling. Trust your intuition on that, but that works with anything, whether it is stones, shells, crystals, twigs, or whatever it is. Definitely connect with the energy of each one to find out what it can help you with. Joe made a set of rune pebbles when I was a teenager. I have to see if I can find them. Oh, definitely dig them out. They do make fantastic runes because I think they've got that solid foundation kind of energy. So there's nothing airy fairy is going to interfere with the readings. They've got such a good solid foundation already. So once you create them into runes, and you don't have to stick to the traditional runes, you can work with the witches' runes, which are different images, but you could create your own. You could create your own set of nature runes, and I do actually explain it in the Witchcraft into the Wilds book. But you can make your own set of images and meanings for your stones. So you might draw the picture relief on one to show new beginnings. You might draw a picture of a snowflake on another one to show the hardships of winter. You could draw clouds on one to show intellect or thought or ideas. So you can absolutely make your own set. I call them runes, but it is dust. And Jenny's just put there lithomancy, hoping to make a sea pebble lithomancy set. Lithomancy is amazing. We actually taught it in one of our witchcraft workshops, and it is amazing to work with. And you make a lithomancy set with all sorts of things. So you could have pebbles, you could have shells, you could have crystals, you could have bones, all sorts. But pebbles would work really well. And you just assign each one a different meaning. So they don't even have any symbols on them. So you would have your set of pebbles. Got some here. So that one, I might decide that one is all about home and hearth. That one's quite roundish, looks like a heart. So that one will be about love. This one's quite white. So that one, would be clear thought, clarity. And this one might be all about prosperity. So you've got your set of stones and you assign the meanings to them. You have to remember what the meanings are for each one. And then you cast them and see where they fall. Helen's still got her set that she made. Excellent. There is a book coming out, actually. Moon Books are just publishing a book about lithomancy written by Jess Howard, who actually learnt lithomancy from us. Proud. And she loved it so much that she took it away and just delved right into it. And she's written a book about it. So that's coming out from Moon Books in the very near future. Fascinating to work with. Pia, I always make witches' runes. I love working with witches' runes. I love the witches' runes far more than the traditional runes. I don't get on with those very well. Brilliant. Okay, a lot of magic is about intention, thoughts, and belief. It is. Your will and your intent is a very big part of it, but it's not all of it. So it's a combination, and I think you have to work with it all together to make it all coherent, to cohesive, to make it all come together. If your will and your intent is strong, that's brilliant, but it doesn't work completely on its own. I think it needs that bit of actual effort and making the magic happen. So yes, go find your stones, go dig out your pebbles and work some magic with them, because they are really, really brilliant to work with and free. So I will talk about shells next week, and then we'll move on from there. I've got so much stuff we can work with, thorns and twigs and leaves and all sorts of things, all that are so full of magic that we can work with. But that's for the future. So as always, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me, as always. Trudy's been in her element, excuse the pun. No, I'm not going to excuse the pun at all. You totally own it. Thank you, guys. You are, as always, absolutely wonderful. I'll be back here again next week, as usual. We also have a Waffling Witches over on the Kitchen Witch Coven group. I want to say the 18th of April. It's something like that. But the details are over on the Kitchen Witch Coven group. And we will be talking a bit about self-care, but primarily about dealing with going back out into the world, because as things start to open up, we're going to hopefully give you some magical suggestions on how to deal with getting back out into, I don't want to use the word normal, but that kind of thing. So that's over on the Kitchen Wheel. Thank you. Sunday, 18th of April, 4 p.m. UK time, over on the Kitchen Witch Coven page. And other than that, I will see you again next Friday. Take care, everyone. Have an absolutely fabulous weekend and go work with your stones.